Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Who's Getting Sued. I am your host, Natalie Pierre Lewis, the owner and operator of NPL Consulting LLC, a business formation firm. What that means is I help you get your business paperwork together, help you get your legal steps together so that you can be an official business in these streets and get all the benefits of being a business. Okay, I've been a business and trademark attorney doing these things for over 18 years. I've had multiple careers in the realms of entrepreneurship, the law, education, hospitality, and administrative support. And most important, I am very passionate about making business and legal education as accessible to everyone as possible. Not everybody has the time, the money, or the desire to go to business school or to law school, but a lot of you have amazing business ideas. And if you're going to be successful in business, there are just some things that you need to know. So that's why I get on here weekly and I do my best to explain those concepts. Now, if you've been here over on the Tickety Talk, I have been also going over the terms and services, of what's happening here on TikTok, because TikTok's terms and services aren't much different than the terms of and services that we find on other platforms. TikTok is just being very clear about what they're doing with your information. Okay. But if you want to hear my live readings and explanations, catch me on TikTok in the AM. I'll be doing that Monday through Wednesday. Okay. But here on the evening show, we learn business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. Okay. So, if you hear your favorite celebrity in here, please don't be shy. Get in the conversation, okay? I want the participation. I know, I can see y'all. Look, I see y'all over here with the likes on TikTok. I appreciate that. Make sure that you guys are in the chat. Let them know that your girl is in here teaching these things, right? I've really reevaluated how I'm going to use social media. And I've realized that, it's not about me monetizing on here. It's really about me getting my information out here. I'm not going to stress myself out over that monetization factor, because honestly, it doesn't matter to me. That's not my bread and butter. But what I want is to get the word out there. That is my mission. My mission, the reason I started this, was to educate the average person on what they need to know in terms of starting a business properly. Okay. So if nothing else, guys, please share this out to your people, and get the populars and the likes, so they know your girl is here. All right, let them know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. So first story that we are going to talk about tonight has to do with copyright infringement. Okay, how many of you guys have ever participated in painting a mural? Have any of you ever participated in painting a mural, meaning a painting on the wall? Okay, let me know. So I know we have a lot of artists in the in the audience. So let me know. Anyway, so here I'm gonna read the facts to you. Okay, so in 1982, an artist by the name of Todd Atkinson painted a mural on the side of a train and a water tank out, and with water tank written in red outside of a building in Clover, South Carolina. The building was a bar that was literally called the Water Tank. Oh yay, 100 minutes, yay. Hey J9, how you doing, honey? um so So this guy, he paints the mural for the bar. If you are in the DC area, Ben's Alleyway, Ben's Chili Bowl. If you go outside there, there's that huge mural, right? So think about that. That's what we're talking about here. This guy painted a mural in 1982. No, we're not taking guests right now, friends. Yeah. Um, right. So the mural is up there for a few years. Again, it was painted in 1982. 2023, someone buys the building. Someone new buys the building, and the owner, he gets another artist to come, and he said he wanted to zhuzh up the mural. So he asked this new artist to come in and kind of, zhuzh up some things on the mural. And not only did that artist do that, but he erased the name of the original artist who did it, Todd Atkinson, and he put his name on it. Okay. So it's like, let me see. It would just be like if somebody did a painting on a canvas and then somebody else came and tried to do their own, thanks doll, and tried to do their own edits, and then painted out the original artist's name and then put their own. That is what this guy did in the mural. Can you imagine the audacity? That's plagiarism. It's just like the story that I told you guys about Future and the dungeon house, right? The original photo was Gary Gomez's photo. And then Future wanted to go and do his little, bright fuchsia colors, things, whatever. And you didn't even put Gary Gomez's name on the thing. So that's exactly what's happening here. Okay. So the original artist reaches out and files a cease and desist. He basically reaches out to the owner of the new bar and says, you violated my intellectual property. That mural is my art and you destroyed it, right? So now keep in mind, Todd, he did this painting way back in 1982. Back then, people weren't really thinking about, copywriting things immediately. So he finally filed for an official copyright in 2023. But here's what you have to know about works of authorship. When you create something, particularly art, right, there are some inherent copyrights that you have. It be at just being the creator. Now, if you want to get anything legal done, you're gonna need to go and get that legal copyright, the one, and file it with the government. But in terms of, for lack of a better term, common law, there are some common law copyrights that attach the moment you create something, right? So Todd, the original artist, he files for a copyright in 2023, and it got granted in March of 2024. So he thank you guys for everything. Oh my gosh, I feel so rich. I feel like I need to like dance for y'all or something. Hey, ooh, right. All right. So then the guy who painted over the mural, he was just like, he was just basically trying to blow it off. He's like, if the artist cared that much about the painting, he should have bought the building himself, blah, 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 blah. But there is a rule called let me get it for you, the Visual Artists' Rights Act. The Visual Artists' Rights Act. When an artist makes a mural, okay, it is, you cannot touch it for the span of their lifetime. That is their work. You're not allowed to touch it. Okay. And by wiping his name out and then redoing things, you have mutilated his work. You changed it. It's like if I went, I got the script to your book, or the file for your book, a book that you've been working on for years, and then I went and I changed major parts of it, and then I put my name on it. This is plagiarism, and it's copyright infringement. So Todd took the new artist to court over this mural, and he won. They had to pay him $158,000. $158,000 for some copyright infringement, y'all. Okay. So I say that to say this: don't go defacing murals, because you can be sued for copyright infringement. Murals are art. Again, but the lesson we need to learn here, we need to protect our art with copyrights, with legal copyrights. If we, yes, we do have some inherent copyrights when we create something, but if you want the legal right to go to court and file a lawsuit, having a legal copyright is going to just cut the problems by four. Okay, so rather copyright early than have to scramble at the end. All right. Okay, this next story I wanted to talk to you guys about because, again, everybody is so worked up over these new TikTok terms of service, right? And they're like, because TikTok has told us exactly what they're doing with our information. They're saying we are taking everything that you do on this app and we are using it to train our AI models. And we might be using it, for commercials and things like that. They're being very direct, very, very direct with us as to how they are using our information. And apparently that is something that lawmakers are looking to get into because two House representatives, one from the state of Texas and one from the state of Pennsylvania, have just submitted the Train Act, which would essentially it would make it mandatory for AI companies to tell you how they are if they are using your information and how they are using your information. Essentially, you could just file a form and say, hold on, I just dropped my tablet. Hold on. You could file a form and say, hey, I want to know if you used my work, right? Now, how many of you think that this is a good idea? How many of you guys think it would be a good idea for we as the average citizen to be able to, contact the AI companies and say, hey, I want to know if you've used any of my information? How many of you guys would like that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Would you want the ability to be able to reach out to these AI companies to see exactly how they're using your information? Are they using it to, create some type of, AI person? Are they using it to, I don't know what they're doing with these AI models. They're using AI for everything these days. Sometimes I'll be like, when I see an AI assistant, I'll be like, does this really need an AI assistant? Anyway, but they have submitted this bill for approval. So if it was to get approved, essentially you would be able to check up on the AI companies to see if they're using your information. Now, of course, there is the possibility of abuse and people just bothering the AI, the AI companies. But I mean, you're making so much money off of our information. I feel like it comes with the territory. You take the good with the bad. Okay, if you're going to take all of our information and make it and use it to make money off of and enrich yourselves, then we can ask you exactly how you're enriching yourselves. That's how I feel about it, right? Are y'all okay over here on the everybody? Yeah, somebody type something in the comments. Let me know everything's okay. Let me know you can see me. Can you see me? Okay. All right. So we have a follow-up to one of our stories from a couple of weeks ago. If you were here a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys that Matthew McConaughey is trying to basically protect himself against AI. So he has trademarked certain phrases that he's said from movies like "All right, all right, all right," and his voice and his image. Right. Here's the thing: a legal expert looked at it. Thank you, Miss Kentucky. A legal expert looked at it and he was like, look, I understand what Matthew McConaughey is trying to do, but this ain't it. This is not the way to do it. what he's saying is Matthew McConaughey is basically trying to trademark his vibe. That's not what trademarks are about. Trademarks identify goods in a market, right? If you're trademarking your voice, Matthew McConaughey, what's the market for the voice? So while Matthew McConaughey has made the attempt to trademark all of these things about himself, he may not be successful. But it is kind of a first step that Hollywood is taking to protect their images and their right of publicity against AI, right? Um, uh, uh, Following up on that, um, in terms of celebrities fighting back AI, there is a new organization that has been founded. It's called the Human Artistry Campaign. Okay, it's some of the major names are Jennifer Hudson, The Roots, Jill Scott, Jimmy Jam, Scarlett Johansson, Kate Blanchett, Shaka Khan, CeCe Winans, and Yolanda Adams. These artists and more, and some of the production houses, they are getting together to stand against AI. They're like, look, AI is putting our livelihoods in danger. They can basically train their AI to do anything. They are actively taking money out of our pockets, right? So, they could take scenes from people's movies to, mimic their movements and things like that. So artists are very afraid of AI and how and its ubiquity and how it's being used. Meanwhile, the movie houses ain't said boop, because the movie houses are like, oh, bring on the AI, girl. I don't know if you remember the story I told you. They were trying to get the actors, the actors in like the SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Guild, they wanted them to sign over perpetual use of their images, their AI images, in like any production forever, and they only wanted to pay them $250. Like houses like Warner Brothers and Disney wanted to pay actors $250 to be able to use their face in any movie, like a background actor, at any time forever. Disrespectful, okay? So the artists are getting together. They don't like it. They don't like the AI. They're like, get it out of here. It's stealing from us. But AI is not going anywhere, and it's I don't know. We have to get a rein on it. Okay. All right. Next story. Okay. Does anybody like drag queens? Have any of y'all ever been to a drag show? Or anybody like RuPaul's Drag Race? I do. I'm a RuPaul's Drag Race stan. I love watching it. I love watching the reruns. They got them on Roku, and I think they have them on Pluto too. Anyway, so I love drag queens. I think they're very artistic, especially if they're on RuPaul's Drag Race. They have to know how to make clothes. They got to know how to sing. They got to know how to dance. They got to be athletic. It's a lot. But there are drag queens outside of RuPaul's Drag Race. You just had a drag show about a month ago. Oh, cool. Very nice. Okay, but outside, there are tons of drag queens outside of the RuPaul's Drag Race world. One such drag queen goes by the name of Patty Gonia. What does that sound like to you guys? Patty Gonia. Patty Gonia. Patty Gonia. Okay. What do you think of when you hear Patty Gonia? Guys, if you wouldn't mind sharing this out to your people, let them know your girl is in the building. Ooh, let them know your girl is in the building. Ooh. Okay, sounds like Patagonia. And if you don't know, Patagonia is a very well-known outerwear company. They make, like, thank you for sharing, they make like coats and things like that, right? So here is what happens. Patagonia not only is a drag queen, but is an environmental activist. Patagonia cares about the environment, all right? And says that the drag name was inspired by the Patagonia region in South America. By the way, that is also the inspiration for the clothing brand. So both of these entities, Patagonia, the drag queen, and Patagonia, the outdoor clothing company, were both inspired by a region in South America called Patagonia. Okay. So in 2022, Patagonia, the outerwear company, they find out that Patagonia, the drag queen, was actually in talks with other brands. Like she was about to get some brand deals with brands like the North Face and Hydro Flask. Mind you, these are direct competitors to Patagonia. Okay. So it's like, okay, here's exactly what it's like. You know the Nicki Cardi B's, and everybody was like, what when all the rappers were like choosing sides. It was like it was like, okay, so Patagonia is Nicki, and the North Face and Hydro Flask, they're Cardi, and Patagonia is, I don't know, Ice Spice or something. You know how there were all these wars, right? So Patagonia, the outerwear company, they're like, Patagonia, what you doing, girl? No, you can't be going over to our competitors and trying to make brand deals, right? Um for, and it was for fundraising. Um so they said, look, you can use your stage name, for to be environmentally conscious and all that, but don't be out here trying to make no money off that name, okay? Don't be out here trying to make no merch. We don't want to hear about no Patagonia t-shirts. That's what they told Patagonia, the drag queen, okay? Now, Patty's team, they basically said noted, okay, and went about their way, but there was never any agreement between Patty's team and Patagonia, the company. Hey, admin for creatives, how you doing, doll? So at the meanwhile, after Patagonia tries to lay the smackdown on Patty, Patty finds out that Patagonia actually supported has a subsidiary company that sold tactical gear to the military and police, and she felt like that was hypocritical. Oh, stay safe, doll. So Patty the drag queen finds out that Patagonia has a child company that donated money and tactical gear to the police, and she's like, that doesn't really jive with your, thank you for the heart, me. That doesn't really jive with your eco-friendly you know whatever, eco-friendly, what do you call that thing? I have the notes right in front of me. Your eco-friendly brand, right? So Patty the drag queen is like, you know what, Patagonia, I don't care no more. You guys are hypocrites. So she goes to trademark her drag name of Patagonia. For and she also got a domain, patagoniamerch.com, and started selling merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, and stickers with Patagonia Hiking Club on them. So the drag queen Patagonia, she says, you know what, Patagonia, you guys are hypocrites. I don't want to hear nothing you guys got to say. So she files her trademark. Yes, girl. So she files the trademark for her brand for t-shirts and merch and things like that, and stickers that people can purchase. And part of the proceeds are going to, fund environmental organizations, right? So then Patagonia, the outerwear company, says, "Oh, really? You thought we was just gonna let that slide, girl? Oh, let me show you." So they filed a lawsuit in district court, and they are looking for $1 in damages. Okay, they don't really care about the money. They just want Patagonia, the drag queen, to stop using her stage name to make money. Okay, that is their only gripe. That's why they're only looking for $1. The big thing for them is this name. Okay. Meantime, the drag queen Patagonia, she's out here living her best life. She's getting a lot of support. What else happens? What is it? She's raised over $1 million for inclusive outdoors groups, flying the largest trans flag ever in a national park, and gave a TED talk about joy and resistance, and is working with Yo-Yo Ma on climate activism. So Patagonia, she is making a name for herself apart from Patagonia. She's not relying on the outdoor brand to build anything up for her. So we will see if she's able to go through with this trademark application for her stage name. I'm interested to see if it's going to go through. Okay. All right. That being said, support your local drag. Okay. All right. Anybody here a fan of the Beckhams? How many of y'all saw the movie Bend It Like Beckham? Or anybody here a soccer fan? By the way, if anybody has hookups to the World Cup, specifically the game in Philly with Haiti versus Brazil, your girl is looking for tickets, okay? But how many of y'all have heard of David Beckham? Just give me a soccer ball emoji. Give me a soccer ball emoji. Give me a soccer ball emoji. Listen, it is some drama happening in the Beckham household. Okay, we're just gonna get right in it because there's a lot to cover. So we know, David Beckham, famous soccer player, married to Victoria Beckham, former Spice Girl, Posh Spice, right? They got kids. They have trademarks. They have their own trademarks, David and Victoria Beckham, right? But they also filed trademarks for their children, okay? Including their child, Brooklyn. I think they filed Brooklyn's trademark when he was 17. The parents own Brooklyn's trademarks. They're owned by the mother, Victoria Beckham. Now, again, she filed these when he was 17 for all sorts of things, right? Meanwhile, Brooklyn he's 26. He's about to get married. Okay. No. Yes, 2016, 17, 4 years. Okay. So when he was 21, Brooklyn was about to marry this lady, this daughter of a billionaire, right? Apparently before his wedding, his parents pressured him into signing the rights away to his name. So because mom owned the trademarks having to do with Brooklyn Beckham's name, before the wedding, she's like, look, I need you to sign over the rights to your name so we can keep this money train coming, bro. Okay. I'm not gonna be fighting with you within the USPTO over these trademarks. What? I didn't direct customers any. What are you talking about? Anyway, okay. So, okay. So yes. So right before, okay, do you remember when Todd, who was it? Todd said that, who was it? One of the Housewives franchises, one of the husbands contested the prenup because they said that they were blindsided. They asked them like 24 hours before the ceremony or something. I just remember it was always somebody contesting a prenup saying they didn't have enough time. But basically before the wedding, The parents didn't want no problems with Brooklyn Beckham and getting this money. They had him sign away the rights to his name, right? Um and now fast forward to this year, Brooklyn, he's 26. And now he's saying that he wants his trademarks. He wants to be able to use his name to make money. Apparently he has like a barbecue sauce. No, he has a hot sauce, a Cloud 23 hot sauce that he's selling, and it's doing well. But he's like, I can't make money with my name. I want my parents to give me back my stuff. So then it brings into it calls into question, when parents get trademarks for their children. Kids can't own their own trademarks. They just can't, right? So when parents get trademarks for their children, what should be the rules in terms of when that child reaches the age of majority, which is usually 18? Should there be a stipulation that if you get a trademark for a child before they are the age of 18, that when they turn age 18, it immediately transfers to them? Right? Because he had no say in the matter of his parents trademarking his name. They just did it. What do you guys think? I want to know from you guys. Do you think that parents, one, should be able to get trademarks for their children that they own? Because just like, kids can't sign contracts, you have to have a parent or guardian, sign the contract. Kids can't own trademarks. So what do we do? Like for all of the Kardashian kids, right? North and her brothers and sisters and Chloe's kids and all of them, right? What if when those kids get to a certain age and they can run their own brands, right? Those brands right now belong to their parents. So what if the parents don't want to give it back? Should there be a rule that these trademarks automatically transfer if you trademarked for a child when they were a child? What do you guys think about that? Anyway, but yeah, this is a real issue because I get a lot of you guys who talk about trying to trademark for your kids because your kids are doing things right, but we know that your kids can't own trademarks. So what are you going to do when that kid gets of age? And then with this trademark with the Beckhams, right? Trademarks don't last forever. You have to renew them about every 10 years. When this expires, Brooklyn can contest any renewal that his parents might want to try and get for the trademarks of his name, right? So it's just a lot of family drama. So if you ever think business and trademarks and things are boring, no. It's very, very dramatic. All right. Okay. Moving on. We talked about that. Okay, y'all. Drake will not let this beef go. He has. Remember when I told y'all that the judge basically said, Drake, go cry about it. You lost. This is hip hop. Basically, oh, I got this bold. Don't judge me, y'all. Right? The judge did all that. Well, Drake is not taking it. He refuses to, acknowledge or not refuse to acknowledge. He is appealing the ruling. He is saying, look, these lyrics, people are thinking that I'm a pedophile. You need to take this seriously. And the reason why this is important is because him continuing to pick at this and if he gets the right judge, this might change. Really, Toby? This might change the trajectory of the hip hop game because hip hop has always been, hey, Hip hop has always been known to be combative. There were always beefs. It's just part of the game. So if Drake continues to pick at this scab, and finally finds a judge who is willing to entertain his nonsense, this could change the hip hop game um, on a whole bunch of fronts. Because remember, there was the whole, and there's the whole initiative of trying to hold rappers accountable for their lyrics in criminal cases and things like that. So Drake, you need to start singing. You need to start singing R&B jams, because you are cooked when it comes to the hip hop game. I'm sorry, sir. This ain't hip hop. All right. All right. Stop wasting the court's time. Okay. Let's get over here. Ooh, how many of y'all used to watch Dr. Phil? If you ever watched Dr. Phil, type Dr. Phil. Hey, Glow, Dr. Phil in the comments, okay? So, Dr. Phil, if you didn't know, Dr. Phil is currently in a lawsuit against TBN, the Trinity Broadcasting Network, that Christian network, because he was supposed to do programming for them, and they were supposed to help him with production. And apparently he said he went into debt like $10 million, and they won't reimburse him for anything. Anyway, but that's besides the point. Dr. Phil has a son. His son's name is, what's this child's name? His son's name is Jordan. Okay. Now, Jordan, when Eric Adams was mayor of New York, he and Jordan McGraw, Dr. Phil's son, and Eric Adams made an agreement that Jordan was going to shoot a documentary about the NYPD. Okay. It was going to be called Behind the Badge, and it was supposed to make the NYPD look amazing with exclusive access to film their operations. Okay. Now, the contract said, now, can you imagine that? A mayor making a deal with it. I mean, there's cops, but there was cops, but I don't think politicians were ever involved. Can you imagine Mayor depending on where you live, who's the mayor? Okay. Let's do the DC mayor. This is basically if Mayor Bowser gave like Northwest the permission to shoot a documentary about DC's police force. This is what was happening in New York while Eric Adams was mayor. Okay, so he made a deal with Phil McGraw's son, Jordan. Now, there was a stipulation that the NYPD was supposed to be able to vet the material. And, if they didn't like something, it would be cut, right? So they filmed it. They gave it to the NYPD to view it. NYPD said, we don't like this, this, and this. Take it out. Jordan said no. Okay. He did not do that. And he is continuing to try to distribute it. Now, in this documentary, they say that the identities of undercover officers are revealed. There was codes to back rooms and things like that. So they are really concerned about security measures with this documentary, but they are suing him. The city of New York, now under Mayor Mamdani, they are suing him for breach of contract because, again, it's said in the contract that the NYPD was going to be able to vet the material and have final say over what material ended up in the documentary. As well, they have to preserve the safety of their officers, right? But Jordan McGraw, he's like, I don't care. I'm just going to play it anyway. And he's still trying to get this this documentary out here. Actually, if one of y'all want to try and see if it's possible to find the documentary Behind the Badge by Jordan McGraw, see if it's available online, because the city of New York is pissed. Okay. Okay, I just got a notification from the TikTok, so I gotta do this. This broadcast is brought to you by this selfie light. Okay, y'all see it? It's beautiful. It made me look all great and glowy. Okay, this is me. This is me with the light. This is me without the light. See how sad that look? This is me with the light. If you want a light like that for filming, I've had this light for over 2 years. It's very sturdy. Just check out the shopping bag. You ain't got to buy nothing. Just put it in the bag. Just let them know that you're looking. Okay, please. The only reason I do shoppable lives is because they push the shoppable lives out more. So yeah, take a look in the bag. Okay. Um. Okay. So yeah. So that is the Jordan McGraw story. So yeah, so there is a public safety component. These officers, if their identities are revealed and they're undercover, that could put their lives in danger. So the city of New York is not playing with Jordan McGraw. Okay. All right. Do I have anybody watching from the great state of South Carolina? I have anybody watching from the great state of South Carolina? Or anybody have roots in South Carolina? Apparently they have a lot of cattle out there. So much so that they have different farms, and people they have a lot of businesses out in South Carolina. So they have basically started their own trademark registration system. If you didn't know, you can get state level trademarks. They do not supersede federal trademarks. What does that mean? That means if you get a state trademark and then somebody gets a federal trademark for the same thing, your state trademark is invalidated. Federal always trumps state, right? But South Carolina, because they have a lot of livestock brands, and things that need to be trademarked, they want to fast track things. They want to make things faster. So they have set up their own state trademark system that people can just, press a few buttons on their computer and do their own, state level trademark applications. Now, this at first glance, this seems great. Yes, better access. But if you don't know what you're doing when you're filing the trademark, you are very prone to making mistakes, right? And I'm sure these applications are not free. So that means that, if you don't do it right, you've wasted money. So while I do applaud the attempt at modernizing the trademark system within their state, they also should be putting in some type of educational component to teach people about how to properly use the trademarks, right? Because just like when you guys are looking to trademark federally, the reason why you seek out legal guidance is because there are a lot of rules that you don't know. So everybody who wants to file a trademark, even if it's just for the state of South Carolina, they're going to need to know those rules, right? So they're going to need some type of legal guidance. But I think this is really cool for South Carolina, and it's going to streamline for a lot of state-based businesses. Okay. Okay. So, did you know that Disney could block your passport? Or at least in the case of this child, it was blocked. Disney blocked a kid's passport because the child had a name from Star Wars. The parents had given the child the middle name Skywalker, right? They were in Britain. They filed for trademarks. No, not they filed for trademark. They filed for a passport for their son just to travel. And for some reason, the name Skywalker set off alarms or whatever. They would not allow the application got flagged because of Disney's copyright on the name. Okay. Um, the passport office denied the application at first and said that they might need to get Disney's permission to get the passport approved. Can you imagine having to go to a company to get a passport for your child? Say, can I use my child's name to get a passport, please? Of course, this was a big mix-up. Disney, straightened it all out. But this is just a word to the wise. Be careful what you name your kids, okay? Be careful. I be seeing what y'all naming your kids out here, okay? All right. Okay. Harry Potter fans. Harry Potter fans. Harry Potter fans. Ooh. There we have a David and Goliath battle going on between Warner Brothers, who owns, all of the Harry Potter trademarks right now, and a small brewery in Canada. Okay. So this brewery in Canada by the name of Hubtown Brewing Company, they have something called butterbeer soda. Butterbeer soda. It is just soda that tastes like root beer. No, like butterscotch. Tastes like butterscotch, okay? They applied for trademarks in Canada. There was no trademark in Canada for butterbeer. Warner Brothers had a trademark in the United States, in the UK, in China, in Japan, but not in Canada, okay? So now, keep in mind, this butterbeer has been being sold in Canada since 2019. In 2024, so 5 years, of butterbeer success in Canada, Warner Brothers comes up and is like, "Oh, we want to file a trademark for butterbeer in Canada." Finally advertises their trademark. So Warner Brothers, they filed a trademark in Canada for butterbeer, right? And then just like here, when you file a trademark, they publish it so that somebody can oppose. This small bar had 2 months to oppose the butterbeer trademark registration from Warner Brothers, which has deep pockets. So they are now reaching out to social media. Anybody who's been to their bar, they're like, please show them that we have been using butterbeer for all of these years before Warner Brothers got here, right? Trademarks usually operate with the first person in time, right? Now, I am looking at Warner Brothers sideways because why did you remember to get your trademarks in the U.S., the European Union, and Asia, but you didn't do Canada? Canada's right next door. And they were operating for 5 years, right? They would have to rebrand everything, which would cost a grip. I really hope that they win this against Warner Brothers because it just wouldn't be fair. Warner Brothers, it was you dropped the ball by not making sure that butterbeer was trademarked, in Canada. Because Harry Potter came out at least the early odds, because I remember reading the books when I used to work at Children's Hospital, and that was in the early odds. So I want this brewery in Canada to win because Warner Brothers, you got too much money. You got too many lawyers to have let that slide. At least that's just my interpretation. Okay. All right. Next story that we are talking about, and this will be the last one. And all of my musicians, this is I think this is every musician's worst nightmare right now at this time. The title of this story is An AI Band Stole Our Name and Spotify Verified Them. Okay. So there is a band out of Colorado. They are called Velvet Daydream. Okay. They've been a band for years. They performed, different places, but they're not huge, but they have a following. One day they get a DM from a fan who says there's an AI band with your same name on Spotify. Okay. So they now, if I don't know much about the AI music industry, I don't want to know, but because it's AI, because it's just a few prompts, basically you can churn out a lot of music, right? And because this AI band got verified on Spotify, their music was being added to playlists. People were mistaking the real actual band for the AI band, right? The band was actually losing out on streams, on playtime, on opportunities because of this AI band. Okay. Now the band, they went to go apply for a trademark for their band name and they were denied. Um, so now they're trying to figure out, how do we get back, like AI really just stole their whole swag, their whole name. They are fighting AI for their name. I really think this is an artist's worst nightmare to they have to fight against, they're literally fighting rage against the machine for real. Okay. But this is why trademarking early matters, because if they just tried to trademark their name like within the last year or so. Now granted, not every band is looking for massive fame, but if you're going to be putting music out there, at least protect yourself. So I hope that they're able to overcome this, but my musicians out here, you really have to protect your work before you're putting it out here on the internet. If you need help with that, please check out Admin for Creatives. Okay. She teaches you how to bulletproof your music business. Okay. And then I think, yeah, that is the final story that I have for tonight for you guys. I will be dividing these stories up and putting them on social media later. um Make sure, and I will be reading some more of the TikTok policies tomorrow. I think we're going to do the branding policy in the morning. Actually, let me look that up right now for you guys. So if you happen to be up in the morning and you're just scrolling and you want to learn some, hold on. Tomorrow we will be talking about, okay, tomorrow we're going to be doing the TikTok buyer policy and the branded content policy. Let me see how long the TikTok buyer policy is. Actually, no. I want to do the branded content policy first because that's what a lot of you are worried about. So we're going to do a deep dive tomorrow morning into the TikTok branded policy, branded content policy. So set your notifications, be on 7-ish. Anytime between 7 and 7:30 is probably when I'll be on. And we will go over that. So take care of yourselves. Have a great night on purpose. Talk to you later. Bye. End. End. What the fuck is restriction? What? No.
I won't take it back. I'm proud to be black. Black.
Why don't you stream on TikTok anymore? Oh, buddy, don't get me started. Oh, buddy, don't get me started. Why don't you stream on TikTok anymore? Girl, let me know before I walk out this door, cause I need it for sure, and I feel like you're baby. And I know you know better, I'm a go-getter. Got your lipstick all over my Dior sweater. You want your ass pulled and your ass smack real hard, you gon' find out fucking with an old nigga. I'm making mine up. What you want, a pole nigga? You want a good fucking or you want a toll nigga? You want a young nigga ride on a four-wheeler, or you want a grown man who can drop pole in you? See, when you do that maneuver, you do with your pussy around me, I be losing my cool. I try not to look, but you know what you're doing. My shit rocking up, gotta sit on the stool. You put on the show, you should be on the tube. You back it up, homie, I went with my move. The money. Oh, shoot. Sorry, y'all.